And there we go.
So it looked to me like Victor won the die roll and gets to begin.
Yeah, so Memento will be going first, which at the same time is not the worst for Michele. Obviously, it will depend on the combo, but the Exodia deck has the capability of also going for an OTK pretty easily, so it's definitely scary.
You say that they've got big monsters. Memento has got some big monsters of its own. With that 5,000 Creation King, or maybe it's not the Creation King that's got 5,000. There's a they have some fun names, but I can't remember the main deck monster with 5,000 attack.
I think it's this
Combined Creation. Yeah. There we go.
I thought you were going for the Teku. I mean, maybe yeah, you can write that one.
So we do see an impermanence being used on the mace, it looks like, but we are gonna follow it up with the Tatsunoto Shigo. Didn't butcher that, obviously.
Memento has some cool tricks, and especially people who aren't familiar with the deck, you could easily fall into them. And they have a number of quick play spells in the Bone Party and the Goblin Biker quick play spell that tribute or destroy a monster. So if your opponent uses a card like Infinite Impermanence or Effect Veiler, and you have one of those quick play spells in your hand, then you can dodge it whilst getting the value out of your quick play spell, which is a really powerful thing to do. Looks like that didn't happen for Victor, but he's got a way to follow up with his... You can say it again for me, Marcello?
Tatsunoto Shigo.
Oh, you're getting quick.
Okay. Yeah.
You got it. I think many people say this is the most powerful of the main deck monsters, or at least the one you definitely want to start with in your hand. You can special summon it for free and then destroy itself to send a pair of mementos, or in fact more, as long as their levels are adding up to 5 or less. So here we see the Gatic and the Sleepy.
And here comes the first of the Creation Key.
Yeah, it's often used to send another copy of itself from the extra deck to the graveyard, because it has an effect in the grave. I think you can banish it just to search a memento card, or maybe when it's sent, just to get a memento card. Basti was showing me all of these combos a few evenings ago, so I'm still not as good as he is, obviously, but getting a little bit more familiar. Yeah.
The ceiling is not that high, no worries. And okay, we're getting to resolve. Is Michele on any going second, maybe spells to break fields? Let's see if...
I mean, he's used an Infinite Impermanence, but maybe he'll have some extra cards in his deck. But I'm not seeing a lot to go second with, really. I think he's possibly relying on that Dimension Shifter, but unfortunately hasn't drawn it this game.
Yeah, I mean, we've said it in our meta discussion as well. Whatever deck can afford to play the card should definitely do it at the moment. So,
you know, it was accepted wisdom that Tempai can afford to play it, but you know, we saw in the last feature match.
Didn't go so well.
The Shifter really lowered the ceiling for the Tempai deck to the point where it couldn't deal with a set Emerald Tortoise. Memento, a lot of the cards, they don't have an awful lot of graveyard effects. There is the Gatic, because when you first read the Memento cards, and they all just like destroy cards from your deck, send cards from your deck to the graveyard really, really easily. The aim is, they don't all have graveyard effects, but they do benefit, obviously, from being in the graveyard. Particularly the Creation King can summon itself by shuffling 5 other mementos. So you want to get to 5 other mementos, and then you can get the Continuous Trap, which I've forgotten the name of, but it turns your combined creation into a sort of Appaloosa type threat where you can lose attack points to negate effects. The Cranium Burst. There you go.
Yep.
But I can't see it in the deck, actually.
No, it looks as if he's not playing it, you know, Tom?
It's a brick. That's ready. Yeah.
Maybe he's got more exciting things to
He
do.
has other plans, maybe. Yeah.
think we just got the Horn Dragon from deck. So
Throw back to the Trihorn Dragon, of course.
yeah,
Never really had a chance to put it in my deck, that card, but it is very cool. But it feels difficult to run it instead of a Blue Eyes White Dragon. It feels like it's going to often serve a similar purpose if you need it.
I've seen it in some to remain in Team Exodia decks, just in case it's both a target for training and Allure of Darkness. So in some of those, you see it.
Then you can play Cosmo Queen.
Now, now. But why would you? You lose, so many fashion points. So. And all right, so we do see a pivot in what is a very popular card this weekend, of course, the Silhouette.
Do you prefer the Silhouette track to the Azaru?
I guess not necessarily, but it's really on what kind of interruption do you usually set up, I feel, with your deck, and whatever you feel like is lacking, you can complement with, the right trap card. Overall, I would say the strategy is a safer choice, but yeah, it really depends on the deck a bit.
I mean, I think Michele is playing the statue, so they could have a fight. I'm not sure which one has more attack points.
Yeah. Showing a translation actually to Michele. And now we do see the Horned Dragon come down. Seems like we're gonna set a lot of cards. I saw a Call by the Grave, which is obviously quite popular for the Muchami Fubolos, even in the main deck. Oh. Has additional purpose.
Yeah, it's definitely not a card which is useless going first, even if your opponent has no hand traps. Unlike a lot of other sort of powerful spells, sort of solely for forcing through your combos, this can be very happily used as an interruption on your opponent's turn. An awful lot of cards end up in the graveyard when their effects are being activated. Although I'm not sure that there's that many for the Exodia deck, to be honest.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it to me. Yeah. And I guess the best would be the Art of Blue Eyes, maybe. Like with that, you can have some issue, but yeah. Now we see the combined creation coming back, and yeah, this is a threatening field. So let's see what Michele is gonna try to do. There is always the merit that we have mentioned from time to time in keeping information. If you think you cannot just beat your opponent, you can just pick it up. But
ooh,
wow,
okay.
That's a great way to start. Okay, good old Lava Golem.
I guess it still makes the job. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, what do you pick? Does he know like what kind of interruptions are offered by the deck? I feel like this is a fairly sensible choice. I don't think he... Although, having said that, the Silhouette Rabbit destroying your spells and traps could be quite difficult to deal with, because all of your Millennium monsters place themselves in the spell and trap card zone briefly before making their way to the monster card zone.
ooh,
who's using
okay,
that
there's,
as well? There you
there's
go.
another one.
He's got a plan, Tom.
He's left with 3 cards in it, so I'm really wondering what he's holding on to, because...
The Ankh gotta be in there.
Okay.
And let's see if he needs to explain the effects to his opponent. Seems like it, so that's always a bit of a good sign.
Might need to explain them to us as well.
Fair enough.
They all summon themselves from the...
Yeah.
You place them in the spell and trap card zone, and then you summon them, and each Millennium monster searches a different card. So some search... one searches another Millennium monster, that is the Senjin. And the Golem, what does the Golem search?
Yeah, he basically pays 2,000 life points, or reveal either a Millennium Ash in your hand, and then special summon this card, and then you can add the Temple from the deck.
So I'm guessing it's his sort of least favorite one to draw, because he's running 3 copies of the Shield and 3 of the Senjin, but only 2 of the Golem.
Yeah.
So maybe he prefers to draw the other ones, but this is still useful nonetheless. Temple looks like it lets you place more monsters in the spell and trap card zone. Every time I see decks which place monsters in the spell and trap card zone, I think, could you play it with Snake Eye? I think, well, can you use all of this synergy somehow?
We'd like to. Right?
Moves on with the tempo. Seems like for now is resolving, but it's up to Victor to also interrupt. And seems like he finally flips his trap.
Here comes the silhouette track. This negates. What does it negate? 2 cards on the field?
Yeah, depending on the number of silhouette cards he has.
Yeah. Ooh, but we do have another piece of the puzzle in the Sen Gen. So
Yeah, this is, I think, the premium starter card for the deck because it can search any of the other Millennium monsters. But he is going to start running low on life points. Going to pay 2,000 for this, and then 2,000 if he searches another Millennium monster, which I'm guessing he will. Here comes the Bone Party. Is this going to trigger some effects? I'm guessing, because on the face of it, I think it just destroys and adds or special summons. But I'm wondering what effects. I think the field spell has an effect when a monster is destroyed. You can special one back from your grave.
Yes.
seems like he's also reading it. So
He needs to know his own field spells.
yeah.
Oh yeah, and that graveyard monster who I can't remember the name of it, special summons itself when it's a memento is destroyed. But yeah, I'm wondering, like, something's provoked him to do it now, so I'm guessing he's going to have some interaction at the end of all of this, and he's not just summoning a bunch of monsters right now for fun. Well, it was a bone party. But does the Sleepy get to fusion summon when it's summoned? Or is it an ignition effect? So it looks like he's summoning the Sleepy now.
Let's check.
Yeah.
You can use it. Yeah, that's what's resolving.
The Memento Thunder Dragon? I'm not sure if that's his actual name. He just looks a lot like Thunder Dragon to me. Or the twin-headed Thunder Dragon, at least. Destroys a Memento card, get to search, I think, 2 from the deck. Unbelievably powerful effect, this one. But yeah, I'm still wondering where all of this is going to end up. Because he's done it all now, so I'm wondering if it's going to somehow destroy the Sen'jin. It's to add back the Creation King. And the field spell. Presumably, hasn't he already used the field spell?
Not sure, but
Like Gatic has an effect. I think it adds 1 back when it's special summoned. Quite a lot going on here, but it is
Yeah.
Miguel's turn, so some effect should trigger from Victor at some point to, you know, interact with him, maybe. Oh, the fusion is face down. Okay. Michele can be like, it's my turn.
Yeah,
like,
it's my turn.
Can you stop for a moment? Let me do
I remind
something.
you that it's my turn. Yeah.
During the turn, a card is destroyed, or maybe a memento card is destroyed. You can also use fusion materials from your graveyard. Here comes Combined Creation once again. It has an effect which can pop cards on both sides of the field. I'm not sure when you get to activate it, though.
Yeah, anytime, really.
That's just a quick effect.
Yep.
So he's just going to do it now and
That makes a lot of sense.
potentially destroy the whole field.
Yeah.
Exactly.
First they were negated, then
But
they were destroyed.
I think that
Yeah,
was
that's it.
So very, very well played by Victor, who after a series of plays, even longer than those that he did during his own turn, is able to set up the Creation King once again and just completely disrupt the start, even through the Lava Golem.
Yeah, I mean, very heads-up play. I'm interested that he's dropped that Cranium Burst, which is the thing that I've seen a lot of Memento players kind of end on. It's a very powerful interruption. But having said that, in my own deck build, I'm always a fan, you know, if you can remove like a piece of the end field at the expense of like making your deck more consistent, then I would love to do that. So if you still think, right, I can get to enough interruptions without having to put this trap in my deck, that's the kind of thing I love to do when I'm building decks.
I also feel like that Victor was capable of like, you know, showing us the power of the deck, right? Because I think it's very difficult to play against. I mean, there are a lot of different, you know, plays. I mean, as we saw just now, especially like in Michele's turn, and I really feel like it's one of those decks which you really have to respect entering to a tournament like this, especially because, like, if you don't really know where to activate your hand traps, for example, I think you are in very big trouble.
Yeah.
And I'm really curious to see now a bit about the side deck, because of course Victor is up against, you know, a deck maybe he didn't want to face, and on the other hand there may be the same thing for his opponent, right? So
yeah, at the same time it's kind of tough to interact with the Exodia deck going second. A lot of the usual cards, even the Mulcharmies, are not really effective against it, and therefore you know, a lot of the side deck cards are completely cut off. But I would assume at least the Ash to come in, and then, you know, you're gonna, worst case scenario, get to go first and try out. I do agree with you that Memento is quite scary at the moment. At the same time, it falls into that category of decks of a lot of players not really being familiar with it. And I think that's the biggest strength, because it's a lot of cards, and it's a lot of cards that are not really, or rather cards that are unique to the deck. So it's not like you're going to encounter them often, and this makes it very tough for you know, the usual duelist to be there and actually commit, just like we have seen with the Plan deck, you know, dominating event after event. Maybe now it's time for Memento, but I guess let's find out, as they are basically done siding, so we can jump right back into action.
When you say, Marcello, that people aren't going to necessarily know what the Mementos do, but what about the Exodia cards, do you think?
I think it's flashier, and it's like, they are less cards, to be fair.
That's true, and they are a bit simpler, I think.
Yeah,
in
it's
terms of what they
pretty
do.
straightforward. And there comes the best one, arguably. So, as you have mentioned, Tom, a really great way to start things off. And this time, uninterrupted, it seems.
One thing that I find quite funny, you said it's fine into the Mulcharmies, is that, like, I think Perulia would almost draw nothing, because everything goes
Yeah, exactly.
goes from the hand to the spell and trap card zone.
Yeah, you usually don't even normal at all. So yeah, it's even the Footballers is, you know. But we do see the side decked Ash used here though, which can be quite risky. And let's see if he gets banished, because we do have a shield.
Yeah, I'm wondering if you just hold it for the Ankh, but again, this is the thing, like, maybe you've read the cards, but if you haven't played against the deck, you might not know
Yeah.
when the best time to do it is. Although having said that, I don't even know if Ankh is one of those cards you can only use once. I assume you can only use once.
Yeah, you can't summon it up for the rest of the turn. Oh, but that's only if it resolves, right?
Yeah, so maybe you can just activate too if the first one gets ashed.
Yeah, but you need to have them, so, you know.
Yeah, but he would have got,
Yeah.
you know, multiples if the...
And he also has the Golem, which, you know, completes basically the set.
This is all the Millennium monsters, unless you count the Heart of the Blue Eyes, which is treated as a Millennium card, but doesn't have Millennium in the name, so you know.
Yeah, dream start here from Michele, who really wants to return the favor, and this will resolve, most likely. Just having a read, and we can set up the Exodia Rage, you know, ready. So
I've seen a lot of players at this point, before activating the Ankh, Link summon maybe something like Illusion Rabbit. But maybe Michaela's just already drawn the statue, so there's no point making the Illusion Rabbit, because after you've resolved Millennium Ankh, you cannot then special summon any more monsters. But yeah, here comes the man himself. Most powerful monster in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Exodia. Can negate a spell or trap once a turn, and also during the end phase can set one of his themed traps.
Oof. And we pair it with most likely Secret Village of the Spellcasters, right?
Yeah.
That's a scary one. What are we giving our opponent? Okay.
Well, it doesn't matter, they won't be able to activate it.
Yeah.
Unless you specifically draw the Witch, right? Which is I assume it's a spellcaster. I know it's got Witch in the name, so it's a good guess.
Fair enough. But yeah, this is a scary start. As you have mentioned, usually you would pair it with the Silhouette, but works for me. And let's see if the name stands for itself. Is it Unstoppable?
Well, it looks to be in this situation, destroying the whole field, negating spell or trap, no other spells. I mean, maybe. I don't know how easily the Memento deck can just play with its monsters. I mean, a lot of decks can do that, but Memento also has some very powerful spells that it likes to use, so...
Absolutely.
And very good stuff from Michele, especially because like if the Ash Blossom was activated, then he basically has the Unstoppable Exodia compared with the Exode, which basically can get rid of his opponent's entire field.
And I see a couple spells in the end, and the Droplet would have been really good.
Ah, but it's paired with the Witch, so you are going to get to use the Droplet. Should we double check the Witch is actually a spellcaster?
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
She is,
and
okay.
funnily enough, I think she is the only spellcaster in the...
Oh, and he's only running 2 copies as well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that was needed.
A dream.
But is this now the time just to destroy it? I'm not sure how many other ways the deck can summon from the hand with no...
No, exactly. I think that would be the right moment for Michele to activate the Exo, because, I mean, just in case, if you're not so sure, like...
Oh!
Ooh, nice one. We haven't seen this, I think, from Shadow Time, maybe.
Comes back paired with Barrier as a very popular target, but I guess, yeah, you do have the double functionality of just signing it against Memento too.
So Victor taking his time now to be able to use spells, but I really don't know how the deck can play without access to the graveyard.
Are we gonna see the Droplet? I guess so.
Maybe it's, yeah.
Or now or never, pretty much.
There's nothing else to negate with the Droplet either, really, is there? So, although the Exodia becomes a lot less threatening once it's been hit with Droplet, because it normally can go up to however many attack you have as life points, so that's a healthy 4,000 attack. But in this case, it will have its effect negated, so it'll stay at 0. So yeah, players just resolving their chains in the correct order.
Yeah.
So resolve the
Yeah, that-
bone party. It's a chain link 4, I think. Actually, it's chain link 5, isn't it?
Yeah.
But after all's said and done, I don't know what Victor's gonna do. 'Cause he's already used this normal summon. Oh, this special summons though, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. And it can destroy a spell or trap.
Yeah, but even if it destroys the village, I mean, maybe he's forced to go for the Exode, but I'm not so sure, honestly, if...
Oh, does it get destroyed by the Sachinoko? does it target? No, I'm looking. I think it's the Sachinoko, not the Dark Blade, or maybe he's using the Dark Blade now. Because it still looks like this is one chain.
No, this is still part of the previous chain.
Yeah. So it's being destroyed by the Sachinoko. But that's not really what you want to happen, because everything's just going to end up banished.
Yep.
Very complicated chain, this one. Assume the Memento monsters don't like being banished all that much.
Who does?
Who does, exactly. Maybe the Exodia pieces are fine with it.
Or Malice coming up. So,
Catch Tira monsters, you know. There's quite a few.
yeah. DD, since we see the DD ground.
A DD scout plane.
Necrophase. Yeah, there is a few. Okay, what now? We have 2 cards remaining. Still, the Exode Fires of Rage is face down, representing a total blowout.
This might be forced out by the Sleepy itself. So you just summon it. Got more attack than Exodia. Who would win? The unstoppable Exodia or
a Sleepy.
a Sleepy Sheep? Victor's cards just seem to be melting away into this field now. Just the Sleepy and 1 remaining.
And yeah, there he comes. Sleepy obliterated by this Exit Fires of Rage.
No way to fusion summon anymore, if that's what he was trying to do.
And I think he picks up his cards. Solid effort, but in the end, it truly seems to be unstoppable once the Exodia resolves. And yeah, the score is tied. It's 1-1. So we are gonna need a game 3 to find out the winner of round 4. And now, though, Victor has the edge. He gets to go first and set up, or at least tries to set up the same field as game 1, which seems impressive because not even the lava golem was enough to just break it.
Yeah, as you say, very impressive. Only lights I can see, on the other hand, are potential shifters. And do we have? Oh no, so no Fuvalos in the deck for Savvy. Maybe the Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood.
I mean, there are almost 15 minutes, but like looking at this deck, I think the Evilly match will go in. Like, I mean, after saying what the deck does, I think I would assume that like going second, this is one of those cards you really want to have, just in case you don't really want to think about what your opponent is doing just in under battle phase and activate the Evilly match. And he has the Shifter, as you mentioned. He has the Ash Blossom, Impermanence, Lava Golem. I mean, he has options, you know. On the other hand, though, like if Victor starts things off as in game 1, I think it will be very scary for Michele if he doesn't have any interruptions.
Yeah, you can keep it as it is. Probably still keep those Ash Blossoms, because worst case scenario, I mean, you know, the card that you want to stop. I also wouldn't mind the Dimensional Barrier to come in, because it's a very solid way to slow the deck down and just, you know, stop the rank from resolving. So why not?
Yeah, see, looking at Victor's deck, he's got Ash in the side deck.
Yeah.
So that's... I feel like Ash in the main deck was probably the most popular card in the main deck. So I'll be interested to see why chosen the side deck rather than the main deck for that Ash Blossom. It does look like he's quite light on hand traps overall, and maybe favors having a powerful main deck engine and just side in the Ash in games 2 and 3 to deal with any potential more charmies.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he just felt like it was better to have it in the side deck, and sometimes we also saw our players adding hand traps with the cross-side designator, but this is not the case. So it's just, you know, wants to have it for maybe just specific matchups like maybe this one. But I guess we will soon find out because our players are ready, so let's see who will be the winner of our round 4 Fury match.
Players just doing the final cuts before the game is started. Victor presumably going to take the chance to go first, as we can see.
And here they are. Let's see what Victor starts things off with. I don't see any monsters actually from Victor's end, but let's see if he has any spells that can help him out navigate through this, but...
No.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Is that it, really?
Yeah, I'm wondering, because a lot of the spells require you to tribute or destroy a monster you control in order to use them. Talents, the fusion, you're not going to be able to do anything with those, so... Wow, just a set 3 and pass. And, I mean, from where sitting, we know there's aren't an awful lot, and do you think Michele's going to give them much respect? Like...
No, I mean, like, if you're Michele, like, for sure, I mean, you're understanding that there's something maybe that didn't work on your opponent's side of the field, and especially because, like, maybe it could be having, you know, an impermanence or something like that. But, I mean, he's starting things off once again with the shield, and which is good news, because, like, as we saw before, he had basically the entire set, you know, the shield plus the Sang Engine plus, you know, the Golem. And let's see now if, you know, also with the Sang Engine and also the Ankh in hand, let's see how much pressure he can put to your opponent, to his opponent.
Yeah, I mean, he has the Ankh to reveal, right? So he's not going to have to pay any life points. He's going to keep his life at a healthy 8,000, which is actually super important because the Unstoppable Exodia gains attack equal to your life points when it attacks. So if you're still at 8,000 when you attack with it, that's 8,000 damage then and there. So this could be a very, very quick game 3 if he just summons the Exodia and Victor has no way to block the attack.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned this before. I mean, the deck is capable of going through an OTK very easily, and maybe Michele can see the light in the sense that maybe it says, you know, maybe this is my occasion. I could push.
Yeah, he sees it with both hands when your opponent just sets 3 and passes, and they're not a paleo deck, they're not a labyrinth deck. It's
and especially because, like, I don't really think Michele can fear something like, such as, you know, torrential tribute. You know.
Wow, you still have one effect negation with the Exodia. He's going to go for a Link summon now. Nightmare Phoenix.
Nightmare Phoenix. I mean, yeah, I think he really wants to seal the game now. So he's just going for one and decided in this Pocket Dogwood. You got it, Tom.
Well, I think it's an interesting choice because, like, when you get low on time, like, it still can take a while to end the game, especially with the Dogwood. You still might get like a couple of turns.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things you'd really have to practice to figure out how it works. But I don't know if it's going to come up this game, right? It's going to reveal all 5 pieces of Exodia, and combined they're going to summon the Unstoppable version from his extra deck. I really want someone playing this deck just to draw all 5 pieces.
You know, I actually know a guy who lost to at locals and his opponent in the very first 6 cards, all 5 pieces. You know, you have it on your left, actually. I remember that day, and Marcello was there, and he lived that moment.
But this gets the job done equally well. Attack, this is 8,000 damage. And there it is.
And that's it. Yes. Michele seals the game and wins the match 2-1. And very well played by Michele. And I really feel like that, you know, he came back victoriously into this one. So let's go quickly back to us for the post-match discussion.
Well, a match it was here in round 4. Couldn't ask for more. A lot of emotions, but in the end, it really and truly was unstoppable, as it showed. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, a roar from the crowd there. They obviously very much enjoyed watching that 8,000 attack point swing. It's not every game you get to see a monster with 8,000 attack. Just one hit, boom, game over.
No, I mean, but we mentioned this before. I think the deck is it's scary, and it can afford to play hand traps. He has the lava golem, so even though like you want to set up a field, you don't really think about that, because like, how are the chances that your opponent is playing a card such as lava golem, right? And on the other end, there's also the unstoppable Exodia, which by himself, is incredible, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely had a bit of everything. Luckily, at least in game 1, we got that redemption from round 1, where we got to see the full potential of the Memento deck and how many layers of different type of interruptions it can set up. In a way, it reminds also the branded Chimera deck that you can, fusion summon during your turn, but then even set up more. Still have a lot of recursion, but yeah, it can be a scary one. Unfortunately, though, maybe it's the stream that doesn't bring it the best of luck. We did see that break in game 3. It can happen. Obviously, it's a shame, but at the end of the day, I'm sure it would have been a close one nonetheless. Because in game 1 we saw the full potential instead on the other end of the Exodia and the Millennium deck. We have used to it. We have seen it plenty of time now, both in Lille and also at the UK Open. It had a pretty good show. It seems like a consistent option across the field. Still, there is room to debate about. Maybe we'll be able to ask about that line of the silhouette rabbit being skipped when usually you would see it, but I guess this settles it. We have our response on what's the best trap, right? I don't think that's how it works, but
no trap.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was a Memento player, I'd be very scared to go on the stream. They seem to be cursed with their drawing some very weak hands. Yeah. It's sad to see, but I mean, it's a great deck when it goes off. I mean, it has a lot of different things you can do. It gets to play on both players' turns, which is kind of the modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck's dream. It has ways to destroy cards, it can fusion, it can link, it can do pretty much everything you want.
No, I mean, you have a lot of choices, and we mentioned this before. I think entering into a tournament like this and playing a deck such as Memento, I think you have the advantage of, maybe my opponent doesn't know what I'm doing, and maybe doesn't know exactly where to activate, the hand traps, for example. And I think the deck is very fun to play with. It's still, let's say, new in the sense that maybe players are not so used to it. And maybe next time, we have the chance to see him on stream, it will be Memento's time.
Yeah, hopefully so. But yeah, without, I guess, moving on to what can we expect from the rest of the day and the rest of the field. Up until now, the trend has been, as you would expect from a tournament with 2,500 plus players, a lot of diversity. We do have those big representation from Snake Eye decks and Tempai, but especially in day 1, I feel like you can really play against every different deck, anything.
Yeah, I mean, Marcello and I, before the event started, I made a little recorded meta-analysis for you guys at home, so maybe you'll catch that later in the weekend, but we were going through, looking through all the different types of deck. There's 10 plus decks, and then between the sort of the Snake Eye, the Fire King, the Fiendsmith, you can kind of put those together in various combinations. So if you wanted to count them all separately, you can end up with tons and tons of combinations.
Absolutely. So during one of our breaks, I'm sure you'll be able to enjoy that. While during at least 10, if not 15 of our breaks, you'll be able to enjoy the match that these two have had, which, spoilers, was something.
An hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Game 1.
I don't know. Yeah, so that was absolutely incredible. But we don't want to spoil what that was, so we'll keep you guys hanging, and when that will be shown, I think you'll understand what we mean. But without further ado, thank you for being with us with round 4. But we want to hear it from the winner, Michele, and well, we have another Michele, Mike, interviewing him right here, right now.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Hello.
Congratulations on your win. It was an amazing duel, and we were very happy to see an Exodia deck getting the show. How do you feel about the deck?
Penso che il deck per adesso
Can you put it close to your mouth?
sta performando molto bene. Ho deciso di portarlo perché comunque è un deck molto semplice, non volevo portare un deck combo perché non avevo molto tempo per impararlo, mi piacevano molto le carte Exodia e quindi era la miglior scelta secondo me.
So he says he really like the deck, even into the format, because it's easy to drive in and he has a good matchup, and he very like Exodia.
I can tell. Okay, thank you. And we would like to have some highlights, so I can have your opinion about that. If it's okay. So the first highlight is at the end of the round 1, where your opponent destroyed your whole field with one card. What did you felt about this scenario?
I was in a really bad position because the 2 impermanence was not that really great. I did it in 2 very bad spots. The first one in Maze was like, maybe was good, maybe not. The second one, I could use it on the big monster instead of the rabbit, and then Lava Golem the rabbit, and what was the other monster? The dragon.
Okay, I see. So, otherwise, on round 2, you had an amazing field, and of course, in my opinion, there are 2 amazing cards on your field. Of course, the Unstoppable Exodia and the Village of the Spellcasters.
Yeah.
Is this a card that you mainly prefer to main deck, to side deck, or you like to have a set rotation as interruption, either going first or second?
I play set rotation and Secret Village in main deck because I really like the card. Versus Tempai, when you activate Secret Village, is 100% a win. And I really like the card, even if I do the set rotation and one of the 2 field spell is really bad. It maybe happens, but...
Okay, I see. And of course, our last clip, I think it's what everyone wants to see. Is the one that you pop your opponent. I mean, the trap is an amazing card. I want to ask you, what do you feel about this card?
The flame, the trap card. Yeah, is really good. It's the main interruption of the deck, I think. The fact that you pop all the opponent fields, and then from the graveyard you can banish it to add a piece, or shuffle back piece from the graveyard to banish, is really good. Really good versus Runic.
And the last card I want to ask your opinion about is, of course, the Millennium Act. That you literally revealed 5 pieces of the Exodia to summon the Unstoppable Exodia.
Yeah.
Tell me how you feel about this card.
Really, really good. I love that card. When I have it in the hand, is.
I mean, it's not every time that you see someone revealing 5 pieces of the Exodia and then summoning the Unstoppable Exodia. An amazing card.
I bought it all quarter century only for him.
I can tell they look amazing.
Yeah.
So thank you, congratulations again for your win, and I hope that you do well in the main event.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining us, and back to you, Ed.